Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. For those of you I haven't spoken to before, my name is Sam Horriban. I'm actually part of the survey department here at Copters, and today I'm joined by one of Pix4D's in-house technical specialists, Ruben Buron. Hi, Ruben.
Hi, Sam. Thank you for inviting me to this webinar. It's a pleasure to participate with you in this webinar.
Thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to show you how Pix4Dcloud can help you to produce effective data, facilitate greater certainty on budget and planning, increase collaboration between departments, and ensure a reduction in operational risk and waste. By the end of this webinar, you'll also get a free trial as a thank you for attending and receive a recording of the demonstration so that you can follow along and try out some of the features we're going to showcase today. So please do stick around for the end of the webinar to receive that information. For those of you that aren't familiar with Copters and our role within the drone industry, we're here to provide you with unrivaled support from industry experts on bespoke drone packages comprised of equipment from world-renowned partners. We can also provide virtual and in-person training on all our solutions to ensure that you're set up for success. The reason Copters work with Pix4D is that we found this software can help alleviate some of the common problems our clients face on a day-to-day basis within their commercial operations. This can include problems such as inaccurate data capture, difficulty monitoring site progress, and time-consuming processing. But what does this lead to? This can lead to an uncertainty in results, reduced collaboration across teams, and a distrust in data, all of which generates a decrease in operational efficiency. But how does Pix4D address this? Well, by introducing Pix4Dcloud, we can guarantee a certainty in results and increase collaboration across teams through the use of effective data. Pix4D are actually responsible for generating 500,000 kilometers squared of asset mapping across the globe and have 50,000 concurrent users across Europe. Without further ado, I'm now going to hand you over to Ruben, who's going to help you understand how Pix4Dcloud can help mitigate these problems within your workflow.
Thank you, Sam, for the introduction to this webinar. It's, as I said, it's my pleasure to be here with you. And let me introduce myself. My role is technical specialist in Pix4D, and then the demo is going to be focused in Pix4Dcloud. But probably most of you knows that Pix4Dcloud is a cloud platform, a photogrammetry cloud platform software in order to transfer images collected with a drone or with a terrestrial device like a smartphone, and then convert or transform these images into high-quality deliverables and get information from these deliverables, from this 3D point cloud, this mesh, this orthophoto, or this DCM, right? Go forward, extract information from these deliverables. So let's start with the demo. As I said, Pix4Dcloud is a cloud platform. It means that we can access to Pix4Dcloud from any of internet browser as Google Chrome. You just have to put in the URL the direction cloud.pix4d.com drive, and then log in with your user. In my case, you can see here, this is my user, my Pix4D user, and then you are going to have access to all your projects, right, in Pix4Dcloud. It means that you don't need a specific computer, a specific laptop in order to access and process the data that you have collected with your drone or with your mobile phone. From any computer, you can configure and process the data and extract information for that. So let's start.
As well, Ruben, because it's cloud hosted, that means you don't need a particularly powerful PC to actually run the models. Yeah.
Exactly. This is one of the main advantages of the solution, that you don't need a high performance laptop or computer in order to process the images and get the deliverables. So let's start. How is the workflow in order to get the deliverables in Pix4Dcloud? First, we are gonna create a new project here in new, and then I'm gonna say new dataset. And the only thing that I have to do is to put a name. We can put a webinar 24/01/31. Ready? Create new site. And then the next step is to upload and process images. So I press next. And to select the images, we can go to our Explorer, Windows Explorer to put it, or just select them. This is an example. Just I'm going to take some of them. 9 pictures. I haven't put it there. Sorry, I do it again. Select the images, drag and drop. Now, yes. And then we have here all the images of our fly that we have import from our drone. Next step, it's just to process. It's just select in, the coordinate system that we wanted to create the outputs, the point cloud, the 3D model, the orthophoto, and the DCM, right? And then just, in this case, we are going to leave it like this and press next. And then it's going to start processing. Pix4Dcloud is going to start processing the images in order to generate the outputs. As you are, I'm not going to press next to do the processing. We can go directly from one of the projects to show you the results. And that you can see here in Pix4Dcloud is that I have organized all the projects in different folders that, of course, you can create in your user. So I already opened one project here. And this is that you are going to see once that you start processing the images. This is an automatic phase. So you are going to get directly the point cloud, the mesh, the orthophoto, and the DCM. So this is an example. Here is the point cloud. I like to do zoom, and then you can see the level of detail that you can get from your drone data. And if I activate the mesh, here we have the triangulation, the 3D model of the query in this case, and we can change from the 3D view to the 2D view. And then we can see our outputs that are georeferenced. We can see the background map here. Then you see the level of detail that we can get in our orthophoto, right? And then we also have the DCM. DCM means the digital surface model. We can activate the view, and according to the elevation of the zone of the area, then the color is gonna be different, right? And then we have it here. Even we can isolate areas here on the right side. We can just select one of the area. If we wanna just see the depth part, and then voila, we are gonna see only there the DCM. So this is the first step in Pix4Dcloud that we can do. As easy as you have seen, is just import the images and then get these 4 outputs: the DCM, the orthomosaic, the 3D texture mesh, and the point cloud. But in Pix4Dcloud, we go forward. When I say we go forward, that I mean is that we can extract information from these point clouds. Before showing you how to extract information, let me remind you that it's not only data from drones that we can process in Pix4Dcloud. We also can use our smartphone with the solution Pix4Dcatch in order to collect the data. It's just, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here just to show you how to collect the data. So this is me, just collecting the data. Is just with your smartphone, with application Pix4Dcatch. We can also collect images and then upload these images to Pix4Dcloud in order to generate the same outputs that with your drone. It means a point cloud, a DCM, an orthophoto, etc. I will show you some examples. Great. So this is the data set from your drone or from Pix4D from your smartphone, and then let's start to generate information from that. I'm going to change to the 3D view. And first thing that we can do in our data sets in cloud, in Pix4Dcloud, is to take measurements. Here on the left side, we can create groups of layers. I can create a new one, a new annotation group, and I can change the name. We can put that is the webinar. Great. Then I can see on the left side the new group, and then I can take some measurements. So if we want to create a line, just here, what is that from here to here, then we can see what is the 2D length here on the right side, the 3D length, what is the difference in elevation between the 2 points. That is very useful, is we want to check what is the elevation offsets between the top and the bottom of the query, just clicking, and even if it's a 3D line, we can see the elevation different here, right? And all these annotations that I'm creating here, line 2, we can change the name. We can change distance 1. This is for this one, and it could be elevation. I don't know. Got it. This is one thing that we can do in Pix4Dcloud, take measurements. We also can do volume calculation. We have the option of volume calculation, and it's as simple as clicking around the area that I want to calculate the volume, validate, and then calculate volume. Then, voila, we have it here. This is the volume, and we can see again all the information on the right side. What is the 3D area, and then what is the volume, the cut volume, the cut error, the fill volume, etc. And we have another elements here in our group webinar, right? That's another thing that we can do in Pix4Dcloud. And all this information that I'm creating, that I'm extracting from the point cloud, we can share, we can create a report with this information, right? With all these measurements that I've done. We have the option that it's annotation report. And here in annotation report, I say, I want to create one of them. And it's already generated. Here is automatically generated, and all the annotation that I've done is created here. This is another example with all the measurements that I've done, with all the volume calculation that I've done in Pix4Dcloud, all the points that I mark in the model, and the screenshot. That is a really useful information because we also have the screenshot, the screenshot of the distance that I've done. So it's a nice way to share the information with your clients or the clients of your clients.
Helps to validate claims as well, doesn't it?
Is it? See, this is one of the goal of these reports. Let me show you another project and show you more features of Pix4Dcloud. In this case, this data set has been collected with a smartphone with the solution Pix4Dcatch, and the results are quite similar. It's a point cloud, and then in this case is for a trench. They want to do the monitoring of a trench, check what is the current status of the trench, and then we can do the same type of annotation, take measurements, volume calculation, and let me show you another one that is inspect. This is really, really useful because that we can do is just clicking in one of the area and the 3D model, and then the software is going to show me, Pix4Dcloud is going to show me the image in this area. So we can do a visual inspection of the area because there are some information that could be easily checked in the images instead of in the point cloud. I click in another part here, and then we have here the information.
It's going to give you another level of what do you call it? Interrogation.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, okay, we have two different sources in order to do the inspection: the point cloud, the 3D model, and the images that we have collected in the field. Of course, I can do this. I can do the same thing with the data collected with the drone. We have the tool inspect and just clicking in one area. Just, I don't know, here, for instance, clicking there, and then Pix4Dcloud is going to show me the picture collected in this area to do some visual inspection.
And you can group all of that together on the report at the end and provide
exactly.
That.
Even you can classify all the annotations, all the information that you are extracting in different groups, because then you can activate the view of some of them, right? Activate, and it's easy to manage. Even we can change, of course, to the 2D view, and if we want to take some measurements in the orthophoto, we also can do that. Just check in and take the measurements in the orthophoto. So that's nice, right? That is not only to generate the outputs, we can take some measurements, volume calculation, visual inspection. And next step, the next step is that we also can compare the data sets from one day and another day, just to do the site monitoring or the progress monitoring of a query in this case. So that we can do is with this option that is compare. In compare, we have collect data with our drone one day. In this case is a long time ago, 23rd September, and then 31st October. And I can select them and I can compare with this fantastic tool how was the situation of the query one day and the other. Not only in 2D, I can do it as well in 3D. That's amazing to follow up, to track, to monitor the current status of the query. You can see that they have extract material in this area. So this was the first situation, and now they are like this. And both data sets, as they are in the same coordinate system and we have used different GCPs, are completely in the same position. We can analyze that.
I guess as well, Ruben, when we provide these progress reports, that mitigates the need to send personnel out to site. If we can say to them, on this day at this time, this is what site looks like, that means that they can spend their time doing other activities and not, spending time traveling or whatever else they may need to do.
That is the main goal of Pix4Dcloud, right? That we can generate reports, we can share the information easily with another stakeholders in order to save time, that they don't have to go to the site or to the field and make decisions faster, right? Let me show you more projects here in Pix4Dcloud. This is a construction site, right? Here it's that, as you can see here in the timeline, the client has collected data different days, so he can check or to monitor the progress of the site very easy, as I showed you before. Just compare. Then we can select which day I want to compare. In this case, I'm going to select 26, and the second day is going to be 30, right? I'm going to deactivate the IFC, something that I want to show you later. I'm going to just activate the point cloud. Point cloud is here, right? So you see here that in 3D, we also can check the status of the construction site one day and the other. And it's not only in 3D, in 2D as well. We can see, let me deactivate the design. It's really useful as well. I want to show you in a couple of minutes. So, voila, we can see that here the concrete is already in the floor here, right? So that's great. And next step is not only that we can compare the data from one day to another, we also can compare the as-built situation of the construction site with the design, with the drawing, as you have seen so far. Let me exit the option of compare, and then that we can do is to activate the design, right? And then that we are gonna see. Sorry, that this day is not available. It wasn't here, so I'm gonna activate it here. Design. Here it is. Perfect. Industry did the IFC, right? So voila. That we can do is to import directly the IFC. Probably you know the format. The IFC format is the standard format for BIM, Building Information Modeling. So you can import it, and then you can do a visual inspection between the as-built situation, between the point cloud and the design. And even it's not just a visual inspection, that we can also do is to take measurements. Here in annotations, that I say, okay, I'm going to measure the distance between the design, for instance, this column here, beep, and another building, the building in the point cloud. So we can click it on the design and then in the building. Sorry, that is in fit. Well, in this case, it's in fit, and then we can check it better for you, right? More options in Pix4Dcloud. We already have seen how to extract information from the data that we have processed with our drone or with our smartphone. We can take some measurements, volume calculation, compare data sets between different days. And the next step is how to share this information, right? Of course, we can export the data to the standard formats, just the point cloud. If we select it, we can the option here, file and export, download. And then if we select the point cloud, we can export it to LAS format, the mesh to OBJ format, the standard formats in the industry, and the DCN and the orthomosaic in GeoTIFF. But there is another way to share your project that is really nice. That it's, I can go to this project just to show you multiple projects, the project that we collected with the smartphone. We have the option share here in the upper right corner, and then if we click here, we can activate the links and then send this link to a stakeholder that you want them to give them access. So they don't need to do a software installation, they don't need a user, they don't need anything. Just in Google Chrome or another internet browser, open it, and then they have the data here.
And you still have, Ruben, you still have access to exactly the same tools as somebody that pays for the subscription once you've received one of these links. So your client could actually perform their own interrogation if they wanted to.
Exactly, that is the point. But you, as owner of the project, you always can disable the access. You say, okay, I don't want anyone can access to this data set. You can disable, and you can share one link or the other. In the second link, your client can save the annotations that they do. If you just share the first one, they cannot do these annotations, right? And just one thing that I want to mention, I show you that in Pix4Dcloud, you can process the images of the drone, smartphone, take measurements, etc., and share the information. This is one workflow, and as Sam is going to show you in the next slides, that you also can do is to process the data in a local software like Pix4Dmatic, right? Because for any reason you prefer to work in a desktop software, but once that you have processed the software, you can upload all the. Sorry, that this is in Spanish. The last demo that I did this morning has been in Spanish. So then you can select the outputs, the images, the point cloud, the mesh, etc., and then upload. And then you can share the information with your clients. It means that you have both workflows: process in desktop and then upload it to share the project, or directly do everything in Pix4Dcloud. And then if you unload it, you have here the project here with the point cloud, and then you have the same options. And this is that I wanted to show you in the demo, and then it's my pleasure if you have questions to try to answer them at the end of the meeting.
Absolutely. We've had a couple of questions come through, but we'll save those for a moment, Ruben. So really great insight there from yourself. What I'd like to focus on for a second is how can we directly solve some of the problems that our clients that have joined us today are facing. So if we could look at targeting, what's your favorite tool in the Pix4Dcloud platform that can target difficulty in monitoring site progress?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, as you can see, is how easy first you can compare the data set from one day to another day, take some measurements, compare measurements, the volume, and then share the data with another stakeholders that they are working in the site.
So with that slider, month on month and month, we can keep providing updates and they can look at switching between. And obviously we're hosting this on the cloud. So I'll assume we can pay for some form of storage where we could say store monthly updates on site, step by step, to keep everybody informed.
Yep.
Beautiful. No, that's great. What about, Ruben, inaccurate data capture? The reporting function might be good to speak about.
That's a good question as well, because it's something that I haven't shown in the demo, in the live demo. But when you process the data of your of the data collected with your drone, then you are going to receive Pix4Dcloud is going to create a report, a quality report, as you can see here. And in this quality report, I'm going to open it. Then you have the summary. You have all the information about the processing options and different parameters, the statistic parameters that evaluate the accuracy of the measurements. And at the same time, in Pix4Dcloud, we can use GCPs, ground control points, in order to improve, right, the internal accuracy and the absolute accuracy of our project.
Yep. So if a client was pushing back and saying this model isn't accurate enough, what we could actually do is point to the data and give them one of those reports and say, well, no, actually the software has stayed here. At this point, we were within maybe 20 to 40 millimeters of tolerance, and therefore it is the accuracy that you asked for.
Yeah, exactly. That is the point, that to have the control of everything that you are doing and to share the information with another companies. Yeah.
No, that's great, Ruben. I do believe we've touched on challenges in asset analysis. I do really like the feature in which you can bring up the live photos that you've taken simultaneously alongside the point cloud. Finally, probably a good one to touch on would be integration with other softwares. I know perhaps some of the people that have joined us today are probably already using some form of CAD software or potentially anything else that's on the market. How can we integrate into those separate softwares?
That is a good point as well, because it's something that I haven't shown. It's all the annotation, all the measurements, all the volumes that I create them, then I can export into the standard formats. We have the option here, annotation, export, and then we can export to DXF, that is standard format for CAD software, to save file, standard format for GIS, or CSV, just points with coordinates. So the interoperability with a third-party software is completely solved.
And as far as I'm aware, I'm yet to run into a client that hasn't managed to integrate. So no, that's some really good insight there, Ruben. To move this along, for those of you that aren't aware of the direct contributions that Pix4D has in increasing operational efficiency, I believe it'd be wise to mention their full ecosystem. We've obviously focused on Pix4Dcloud today, but there are actually other pieces of software within this ecosystem that are designed to support your workflow with data capture, processing, and interpretation. Now, we obviously do focus on drones, and we've mentioned Pix4Dcloud today, but we can integrate this directly with Pix4Dmatic. So that is the desktop version of Pix4Dcloud, and we can flip between the two softwares. So if you want to host a model you've created on your desktop, you can pull that directly into cloud and send out that link. What that's going to do is that's actually going to prevent any of your clients from having to invest in software. You can put it into cloud for them, and they can carry out the interrogation that they want on the data you've provided. Pix4D actually also have Pix4D Survey as well. So for those of you that are looking to get into CAD, and perhaps haven't experienced any other software, you can look towards Pix4D for all CAD deliverables. And finally, we've got full exportation into probably the market's most popular CAD software, such as AutoCAD or Enforce. If you believe you've struggled with some of the problems outlined today, you can get in touch by typing trial in the chat, and we'll get you set up with a 15-day license starting today. That's everything from us. So I'd like to take this moment to thank you all for joining and welcome any questions in the chat. Let's just have a look. Public questions. Here is one. So first question was, would internet connection affect the quality of data you're measuring through the cloud, i.e. poor signal causes calculations to differ? From Chris Corney. Thank you, Chris. Ruben, I don't believe that internet connection is actually going to affect this, but could you comment on that?
Yes, sure. Thank you for your question. The internet connection, you need it. You need an internet connection, of course, first to upload the images and then to deal with the projects. But as you have seen during this demo live, I have 4-5 projects open, and how easy I can move from one project to another one. And it's not, I don't have a special internet connection. I'm working at home today, so it's my internet that I have at home, and how easy you can manage the data. So the internet connection is just to handle the data set, to handle the projects, not to process the project, right? And that's the important point.
Processing is done by Pix4D, there are no constraints on your computer. So you're not going to have any issues actually hosting those models.
Yeah. So for the processing phase, it doesn't depend on your internet connection.
Oh, that's good. Ruben, another one we've got from Norman has asked, how do you georeference your ground control points to your point cloud data if you had them using Pix4Dcloud?
Yes, then that you can do is to use, as you mentioned, GCPs. Thank you for the question. I mean, you can use GCPs in order to with absolute coordinates in order to georeference your project, or in case that is a good question as well, because this is a new feature in Pix4Dcloud. When I create a new project, new data set, and then I'm gonna put any name here, next, and then I select some images. I'm gonna do it again. Next. Then, in case that you are using a drone, an RTK drone, so with high accuracy position in your images, you just have to select the coordinate system and even the geoid. This is an option that we are happy to have, because there are not many software where you can select the coordinate system in planimetric and horizontal, and vertical, the geoid, in order to transfer the data, right? So two ways. First one, using GCPs, great. And the second one, in case that you have an RTK drone, so with a good accuracy GNSS position, you just have to select the right coordinate system here. There is a list that, of course, you can search for them. You have here a list of most of the coordinate system, and that's it. You had it.
All right, perfect. Thank you for that, Ruben. We got another from Daniel Aboy. Thank you, Daniel. So is elevation and positioning data used for the 3D model based on the information from the drone, or does Pix4Dcloud generate more accurate values via AI in relation to the drone data?
Yes, thank you for the question, Daniel. That is a good one. Is the information extracted in Pix4Dcloud is based on the 3D model, in the 3D model generated from the images. But let me tell you that in Pix4D Survey, the application, the desktop application, we have a lot of tools regarding artificial intelligence to extract information that could be useful as well for you. But yeah, this is another approach.
Perhaps that's another webinar in the future.
Yeah.
We've got, so Matthew Quinn's asked, thanks, Matthew. So are Pix4Dcloud and Pix4Dcatch covered under the same subscription?
It is. It is. It means that there is not a version to deal with data collected with the drone and data collected with your smartphone with Pix4Dcatch. No, we can both process in Pix4Dcloud and get results.
So your workflow for somebody who isn't aware of the two softwares, so using it on your iPhone or whatever phone you have to scan data, and then from there we're now going to pull that into cloud, and that's going to allow us to share that data with anyone else.
Yep, exactly.
Perfect. So we're looking at another question here. Is it possible to identify the area from the construction schedule? That's from Junichi.
Identify the area behind the construction schedule.
I believe when you pulled in the BIM model, Ruben, so maybe it's because of the angle we've taken. I think all you had to do was just pivot your camera over the top, and there is a tool that you can actually control the angle at which you view the model. So yes, he would have been able to identify that area behind the BIM model.
Sure. I mean, it's depending how you collect the data with your drone, then it's the data that we are going to generate, and from that, we can extract the area. Yeah.
So as long as you hadn't taken it from the front, as long as you were using the obliques and capturing all the angles of that building, you're obviously going to have all the full 360 model.
Even in case that, you also can use Pix4D Catch on your smartphone to collect data and combine them. That's another option. Yeah.
Okay. Here's a big one for you, Ruben. So we've got 4 questions from Nigel. He's asked us, so can you easily visualize thermal images? Could we show an example if we have one?
Sorry that I don't have an example. You can visualize thermal images. The answer is yes. In this case, the workflow is a little bit different because first you have to do the configuration, the parameters in Pix4D Mapper, and then upload it to Pix4Dcloud. If you are interested, we can arrange a meeting with you in order to show you what is the workflow. But yes, it's possible.
So we have to be, so for any thermal model processing, we have to be desktop based first and then put that into cloud.
And even it could be, you can process in cloud, but the parameter has to be defined in a desktop software. Okay. But in case that you are interested, we can arrange a meeting to show you that. Yeah.
So he's asked, so that was the first part. So can you export to a Google Earth KML/KMZ file? So that would be using Pix4D Capture, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like you cannot export directly to KML or KMZ, but as I saw in Pix4Dcloud, there are standard export options that you can then import in Google Earth and visualize the data. Yeah.
Perfect. We finally got, this one might be a difficult one to answer. Can you perform pixel color analysis and manipulation to calibrate color to a specific character? So that would be with what we showed with the surface model, right?
Yeah, that is something for with the DCM, with the digital surface model, we can activate the visualization according to the elevation, and the color of each pixel is based on the elevation. But it's just changing the range of the elevation. So that we can do so far.
Here's one that's come up a couple of times, Ruben. So I think it would be quite prevalent to answer this. The difference between, so for those of you that aren't aware, we do have Pix4Dcloud and we have Cloud Advanced. So could you provide a little bit of a comment on the difference between the two, perhaps why someone would select the latter?
Sure. The main difference between both is first, in Pix4Dcloud Advanced, we can use GCPs in order to process the images and get results. This is one different. And the second one, it's that in Pix4Dcloud Advanced, we have the option of compare. The option that I show you to compare data sets from different days. This is in the advanced version. And the possibility to import the IFC, the 3D model of your drawing, of your design, and the 2D, and then compare it with the point cloud. This is the two main difference between both, but I encourage you to check our website, Pix4Dcloud Advanced, and then you can see all the difference. But this is the three main difference between them.
Perfect. Daniel's asked, so partnering with drone vendors and providing licensing. For demonstration purposes, Daniel, so we can provide trials. And as we said, if you do comment trial in the chat, we can send a 15-day trial out to an email of your choosing. So you've got plenty of time to get hands-on with some of the tools that we've showcased today. We've got, so another one, Matthew, I do believe we answered this question. with regards to thermal imaging. So can you overlay over photography? So we can do it, but just not in cloud. So if we're looking at processing an orthomosaic of a thermal data set, we'll have to do it in a desktop application first. So either Mapper or Matic. Then what we'll then do is import that data from either Mapper or Matic into cloud, and you can now share that with your clients. Another one, can you combine drone and phone images when processing? Ruben, that's not one I've actually had experience with. So could you combine a data set that you've generated from Catch and then also something from your drone that you ran through Matic?
That's a good question. I like it. It's like in Pix4Dcloud, we can process the data from the drone and it's in one project. And then we can process data from our smartphone and then it's in a second project, right? Mm-hmm. In case that we want to combine them, we can do it that. But we need Pix4Dmatic, the desktop software. We can combine the data both and then we can upload it to Pix4Dcloud. So in the environment, in the environment of Pix4D, it's possible. But if you want to combine them, first should be done first in Matic.
Perfect. No, thank you, Ruben. We've got Stuart's asking the difference between Mapper and Matic.
Okay, it's not the goal of this webinar, but let me tell you that in Matic, Pix4Dmatic, for large data sets, is quite faster than that Pix4Dmapper. The engine that is in Pix4Dmatic is faster in order to get the results that in Pix4Dmapper. There are more difference, like in Pix4Dmatic as in Pix4Dcloud, we can select the geoid in order to generate the elevation of each point. And there are more difference in the features. I really encourage you to check the webinar that we did a couple of months ago about Pix4Dmatic. And in case that you are interested to check the software and see it, we are open. And of course, Sam is open to show you here the difference.
And those resources are still available on our website. And again, trials for all Pix4D products. So cloud as well as Matic and fields and survey, sorry. I believe we've got 2 more questions here than Ruben that have just come in. So sign up for further webinar regarding thermal mapping processing on Pix4Dmapper. It's something we're going to discuss. I do believe we are planning on hosting more webinars in the future. So I will let you know, Stuart, if that's something we are looking at hosting in the next couple of months. Finally, okay, so it's another question from Nigel. That's just to round it off. Can we perform pixel color analysis and manipulation to calibrate color to a specific characteristic, such as RGB multispectral analysis and temp thermal signature? I guess, Ruben, then really we're talking about fields at that point.
Yeah, exactly. In this case, we have 2 options here, depending what is the goal of the project. We can use Pix4D fields based that is very focused in agriculture, but we have another option as well that we can that we can manage as well, that we can handle multispectral images or thermal images.
That's great. I believe that's all the questions we've got in the chat today. Ruben, I'd just like to thank you for your wisdom once again. It's provided some really great insight. If we haven't answered any of your questions, my details should be on the screen now. So if you do have any direct questions, you can either give me a call, send me an email, anything like that, and I'd be happy to help you out. So thanks once again for joining our webinar. We're always happy to help where we can. My name is Sam Horriban. And again, any questions, just give me a shout.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers, Ruben. Thank you very much. Take care.